thought I'd do a little bit of a video update on Twitch settings. I did one a few years back and I haven't really updated it because Twitch hasn't really changed anything on the technical side, and that pretty much works the same for the most part. But OBS has changed quite a bit, so I thought we'd touch base on just kind of run through the settings again and explain a little bit. Let's get straight to it. So you'll see all these videos on YouTube that are clickbaity, like best settings for Twitch. And I'm probably going to have to do something like that on my video too, because that's what people search for. People search for best settings for Twitch. The thing about it is there are no perfect settings because it's going to depend on your environment. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you settings that are kind of a starting point and let you adjust from there depending on different factors. So first we're going to go to File, go to Settings, and we're going to head to Stream right here. And to connect your Twitch, yes, we'll continue. I'm not going to go through all these settings on mine, but instead of using stream keys, I recommend connect account and go ahead. It'll have you log in with your Twitch account and it'll manage all that for you. The next step we'll go to is output settings. After we've done that, you probably have simple by default. We're going to want to change this to advanced so that we can see all the options. We can skip the audio for the most part. People aren't going to change anything in here. For video encoder, if you have an NVIDIA card, you're going to see NVIDIA NVENC, and that's what most people are going to use. That's one of the better encoders. There are AMD counterparts, X264 with CPU. To keep things simple, we're going to go the NVIDIA NVENC route. Rescale output, we don't want to do that here. Even if you do want to rescale your output, we'll cover that more later. We don't want to do that here. Rate control, we want to make sure that's set to CBR. That's for constant bitrate, and these are Twitch specific settings. For bitrate, I actually want to set this at 7500. Now, if you look at the official Twitch recommendations and you try their settings on their setting page, you're going to notice that your stream probably looks like trash because Twitch is more concerned with conserving their own resources and bandwidth than they are with the quality of your stream. So their soft cap that they publish is 6000 at the time that I published this video. Has been for years. You hear a lot of people say a lot of different things about that as far as, well, partners get this, whatever. They have no hard limits that are different than anyone else. So everyone has a soft limit of 6000 bitrate that they publish, but there's actually a hard limit at 8000 bitrate. There's no penalty for using 8000 bitrate whatsoever. It's a hard set. So to manage their own bandwidth and resources, if you try to send anything past 8000 bitrate, you're going to see dropped package. You're going to see dropped frames because they're going to be sending it back and they'll be blocking it. So what I like to do is I set my bitrate around 7500 because no matter what you do when your computer is encoding to send the stream to Twitch, there is going to be fluctuation depending on what activities happen, a lot of different factors. And if it fluctuates, let's say you have this set at 8000 bitrate, if it fluctuates, even a little bit, which it's going to, it may jump up to 9000 or 8200 or whatever. It's going to start dropping those frames whenever it does that. So you don't want to run it right at 8000 bitrate. Now I have heard, depending on what server you get connected to, sometimes it can accept a little more than that, maybe as much as 8500, but it's been really inconsistent for me. The best reliable bitrate I've been able to hang on to without ever having to worry about going in here and changing it is 7500. So for keyframe interval, we're setting that to 2 seconds. That's per Twitch's recommendations. I just stick with it. It's worked fine. Now, one thing that's changed throughout the years is OBS has got a little more granular here. So just know that slowest, I know generally slow seems bad, fast seems good. Well, in the streaming world, it's the opposite. Slowest means your encoder is going to take more time analyzing and processing the frames that it sends. So it's going to generate a better quality with the bit rate that you provide it. So your bit rate is how much capacity you have in a packet, let's say, and then your processing quality, these presets determine how much time it's going to spend getting the best quality it can fit into that amount of bit rate. So slowest is of course going to have best quality. Fastest is going to have lowest quality. Well, why would you not just want to do slowest all the time? Well, if you see encoder overloaded errors in the status bar at the bottom of OBS, or you have a bunch of stuttering and stuff, that means you're overloading your GPU. And it can be hard to balance that because depending on how intense the game is that you're playing at the time or what's happening in the game, it can need more GPU resources. And I know a lot of people say, well, NVIDIA has a dedicated encoder. Yes and no, it has a section of the card that's dedicated, but it still uses GPU resources for a lot of this. So it's a constant balancing act. I would start with slowest and just see how that works for you. If you start getting a bunch of encoder overloaded messages, or your stream seems jittery, stuttery, or the game seems jittery or stuttery, like it's fighting, you might want to just slowly dial this back. Let's say slower and then slow, and just kind of find that sweet spot. Tuning, high quality, low latency, or ultra low latency. I've always run this on high quality, and I've really not had any issues, because the latency we're talking here isn't seconds, we're talking milliseconds. So honestly, the end user, your viewers, really aren't going to tell any difference. I always just go for quality. For multi-pass mode, now that's how many passes. That's also going to affect the quality of the compression when it puts it to that bitrate and sends it to Twitch. So of course, the more passes, like if you do 2 passes full resolution, then it's analyzing these frames fully. Now, if you have a heavy game, an intense game, you probably don't want to do this. You probably don't want to do the 2 passes full resolution. You could play with it and just see how hard it hits your GPU. Again, that's going to depend on how heavy the game and other things that your PC are doing at the time, on how much of this you can handle. Single pass will be fine in most cases, but feel free to play with 2 passes. If you start getting encoder overload errors, dial that back. It's best to play with these one at a time. Profile, I just have that set to main. Look ahead and psycho visual tuning are some NVIDIA specific things that throughout the years I've been back and forth on this. Overall, I just leave those turned off because they try to use AI stuff to calculate frames. And in most cases, that can cause some really strange artifacting, just kind of weird things that happen on the screen. And generally, I think it looks better with it turned off for most games. GPU 0, that's just which GPU you're using. Most of us, it's just going to be 1. You don't have to worry about setting that. And max brief frames, again, according to Twitch recommendations, is 2. I just use that. Now let's go back here. If you do not have the NVIDIA NVENC option, that means you don't have an NVIDIA card. So you must have either an AMD graphics card or none at all. But most people that are gaming are going to have a GPU. You may have an Intel. We're not going to cover Intel so much here. Let's talk about transcoding for a bit. Transcoding is whenever you send a signal, let's say at 7500 bitrate to Twitch, they process it, and then your viewers can select, okay, they don't have very good network connection, so we're going to dial this down to 2500 bitrate and 360p or whatever. So there's 2 parts to streaming bitrate. So you have to make sure your network can handle at least 7500. That's roughly 7.5 megabytes upstream. But you also have to make sure your viewers can handle that download speed. So if you have viewers on a slower mobile connection that are having issues connecting to you, if you are transcoded, it will dumb that down to a lower bitrate, lower resolution, so that they can view your stream easier without all the buffering. Now, unfortunately, on Twitch's side, that eats server resources for them to process that to deliver these different resolutions and bit rates. So they only have so many resources for that. So of course, their partners get first dibs on that. And as resources are available, they give that to affiliates and the chain continues. I think nowadays, they seem to be a little bit better about people getting transcoded, but just keep that in mind that if you're viewing, you can always open your own stream. And if you hit the little gear icon, a little sprocket, and see if it'll let you select different resolutions for your stream. And if it has other options, that means you're transcoded and you should be fine. And other people will have those options too. So it's something to think about. If for some reason you know that you deliver particular stream, you know, there's more than just game streaming, there's all kinds of streaming. But if you deliver a stream to viewers that consistently have terrible connections, you may want to dial that bitrate back for that to make it easier on them to view your stream. Or if you're not streaming video games, you're streaming something else, when there's not a lot of movement on the screen or in whatever you're recording, you generally don't need as much bitrate to be able to handle that. So the next section we'll go to is video. Now your base canvas resolution is generally going to be whatever the resolution of your monitor. So if you're running a 1440p monitor, you can set that base canvas to 1440p. It's generally going to, OBS will detect what you're running by default. For this, you'll want to drop this down for Twitch. So Twitch technically does not limit the resolution you can send with an extent. If you wanted to, you could send 4K to Twitch, but it's going to look terrible because they have a hard limit set on the bit rate. So you could technically send 4K to Twitch, but only at 8,000 bit rate. So you can only fit so many pixels into a packet at that bit rate. 4K sends way more pixels that's going to look terrible. You won't even be able to tell what it is. 1440p is much the same situation. So once we get down closer to 1080p, if you want to send a 1080p stream, generally at 60 FPS, it'll look okay at around 7500 bit rate if you're able to do higher quality encoding that we talked about. But know that there are situations where if you have 7500 bit rate, let's say you really want it to be really crisp, you may be better off to go to 960p, because 1704 by 960 that maintains that same aspect ratio, but it's a slightly smaller resolution at the same bit rate. So it means it's going to look sharper. You have more bit rate for those pixels, so it's going to be a better quality. These settings here can be some of the heaviest hitters on your GPU encoder overloaded messages. If you start seeing those, go in here and look at your resolution. If you're trying to do 1080p, you may have a PC setup that can't quite handle 1080p and whatever game that you're pushing at the time. Let's see, if you're trying to game at 4K or 1440p 120 FPS or something, and then you're going here trying to push that at 1080p, depending on your hardware, it may not be able to handle all of that. You may need to either look at reducing the resolution of your game itself that you're playing, or maybe come in here and reduce the scaled resolution. Downscale filter, it's pretty self-explanatory here. Lengths, the higher you get, the sharper it gets. But I've had situations where I used to recommend lengths, but it does hit your GPU noticeably a little bit more. But there's some situations where it seems like it over sharpens things and can actually add an extra outline and stuff. So I've actually, nowadays, I lean more toward bicubic or so, which is kind of the default that they stick to. Common FPS. So if you go 30 FPS, if you're comfortable with 30 FPS, we're not going to get into the frame rate debate, but if you're someone who is fine with 30 FPS, you can get considerably better quality because the bit rate you're using is having to handle literally half the frames, and it's going to be so much easier on your system if you're comfortable sending 30 FPS. Most people, especially for gaming in particular, are going to want to do 60 FPS. Just know that's going to hit your resources harder. It's going to eat up your bit rate better too, because you're not going to be able to deliver as much bit rate per frame. So if you're doing an art stream, for example, something slower paced, or even a game that's slower paced, I highly recommend trying out 30 FPS and see how you like it, because it's going to be considerably sharper looking. Another thing to keep in mind is a lot of users are mobile. They'll be watching you from a smartphone. So honestly, they're going to be more concerned with your audio quality than your video quality. Sometimes I think we worry too much about the minutia of the video quality. The last section I'll show you in this video is advanced. For process priority, I recommend setting it to high. That gives it a little higher priority with your CPU, especially when you're gaming on the same PC. I generally also recommend launching OBS Studio as administrator, which can also help make sure Windows doesn't take over too many resources from OBS. So I hope that's been helpful in getting you at least started and knowing where to look whenever you have different problems, where to adjust, better understand settings. Let me know if you have any other questions. You can also check us out on the Classic Caleb TV YouTube channel. We do gaming and fun stuff there. I have a podcast on various platforms. Just check out classiccaleb.pro. Website has a link to everything we do. I hope this has been helpful for you. Thanks.